For those customers that use the store's inventory module of MEX, we've introduced a new supplier invoice module. This allows a user to more easily validate the supplier's invoice against the items that you've actually received from the supplier. On top of the streamlined and improved interface, in order for a supplier invoice to be processed into invoice matches, it must be approved. Let's head to the store's control file. In order to use the supplier invoice module, both the Is Invoice Match Possible and Use Supplier Invoice checkboxes must be checked. Once both these checkboxes have been checked, if you have the Approvals checkbox checked, the two new text boxes, Variance Value and Variance Percentage, will come into use. These values are used to ensure the cost variance from the original purchase order and the supplier invoice is within the variance value or the variance percentage. If one of these values is 0, then it won't be used. If a supplier invoice is outside either variance, it will need to be approved using the approval chain of the original purchase order. Let's jump in and create a new supplier invoice. First, ensure the Use Supplier Invoices is checked and head to the store's main menu. You'll see a new Supplier Invoices button where the Maintenance button used to be. Head in there and click New. You will see a Details tab, familiar to the Purchase Order Details tab. Let's fill in the supplier invoice number and click the Purchase Order ellipsis to pick a PO to invoice match. Only purchase orders with receipts that haven't been invoice matched will appear in this listing. Once you have selected a PO, head to the Items tab. Simply click the Add Lines button. All the lines which have been receipted but not invoice matched will appear in this listing. Select the lines you wish to invoice match and click Add to Invoice. Now close the window and you will see the lines that have been added to the Items tab. For this example, we will highlight the lines in the Items tab and click Populate Lines. If we decided to change the invoice unit cost so it is outside the variance settings we mentioned earlier, you'll notice the Invoice Total excluding tax cell has become an orange color. This indicates the line is outside the variance and the supplier invoice will need to be approved. Once we are done, head back to the Details tab and click Approve. Approving a supplier invoice will process the invoice matches in your Items tab. As I mentioned before, if the variance is greater than either the variance value or the variance percentage, it may need to go through the original purchase order's approval chain before processing. If you have automatic updates checked, then the upgrading process will be just as you guessed it, automatic. Otherwise, you'll have to contact MEX support for details on performing the manual upgrade. Keep in mind these are only some of the enhancements and bug fixes resolved in the latest release. You can find the full release notes on the MEX user portal. If you have any questions or any issues, please get in contact with our support department at support@mex.com.au or call 61 7 3392 4777 and they'll be more than happy to help you out.